Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can, sir.
All right. So my name is Elijah Falabi, and I'll be taking you through this session on financial management, right? And we are going to be, speaking on, just rudiments of financial management, what you need to know in financial management, right? So before I start, I would like to mention that it's a class where I will enjoin everyone to, participate and hear their thoughts because at some point I'll be asking us, one or two questions and I want us to, share our opinion, share our thoughts. It's very, very important, right? Um, so just give me a few seconds. So actually, so let me just start by, welcoming everyone and please, at any point in time, once you can't hear me, let me know, right? To understand this is the WDEP program and everyone may one way or the other. I mean, own a small business, and even if you don't own a business, at one point or the other, in fact, at every point in our lives, for all of us are managers, we are financial managers, particularly when it comes to money. People give you money, you have, the money you work for, you want to manage it, ensure that is properly accounted for. So I'll be speaking likely to, particularly how it applies to businesses. So confirm that you can see my screen. These guys here. Confirm if you can see my screen or you guys can hear me.
I can see, sir. I can see it.
We can see it, sir. It's just that we are chatting. Say yes, sir.
Okay,
We see
oh,
it.
someone see yes. Okay.
Sir,
Uh,
we can see the screen, sir.
all right, thank you. So I just want to say, right, I love, a very, very interactive class. For some of you who have probably not met me in person, you know that I try as much as possible to make sure the class is very interactive and to also, ensure that everyone is with me. So I always like to start my class by introducing myself. So I'm Elijah Falabi. I'm a finance professional, right? And my core interests are in financial reporting, corporate finance and some other part of finance, including tax, to mention a few, right? Um, to start with, I hold a bachelor's degree from industrial business, best class to be precise. I have some certification, including investment foundation from CFA, right? And will soon, also qualify as a chartered accountant, particularly in Nigeria, right? Just to mention a few. So, I always like to start the class by, getting to know those that are even in the class. One thing about classes like this is that you don't just coming to hear somebody speak and you listen and you learn. We also get to know each other. Every opportunity you have is an opportunity to meet people, network with people amongst others. So I'll take the next, you know, few minutes to just get people introducing themselves, your name, and maybe what you do in the chat box so that we don't get rowdy. So all eyes in the chat box, your name and what you do. Right, guys, keep it funny. Don't be shy. Whatever thing, even if you don't do anything, put it, don't be shy. No, although I don't believe anyone doing anything. Even if you're students, stay there. Oh, I don't, okay, my name is Eniola Roberts. I run a streetwear fashion brand. I love the streetwear. That's joggers, sorry, you're correct. Joggers, sweatshirts. Right. Okay, Daniela, thank you. I am Anna Obele, an agroeconomist and a data. I will talk quick before I leave you. My name is okay, my name is Ifeoma Cynthia. I'm a professional baker. Still professional baker. Hey, my name is Antonia Jibrin. I'm a tailor. Oh, nice one. Nice one. My name is Eze Princess Sarah. And hair beautician. Wow. I love this. Where are others? They are cooking noodles in the kitchen and they are enjoying the cup. We are 52 on this call, and I've only seen like five people introduce themselves. Where are others? Okay. My name is Joanne Lopo, a sales rep for optic fiber and a makeup artist. Makes sense. Guys, you can see, in case you are getting married this weekend, somebody you can, there's a makeup artist here in the building already. Go nowhere. Go to Joanne. My name is Jumoke Olagunju, fashion tutor and designer. You see, for your agbada, for your, wedding gown. You are getting married this weekend. Ask yourself. I am Duraja Abubakar. I'm into corporate event planning. I don't know why wedding just came to my mind. It's like everything you need is already in this. I am Mistura, a makeup artist and MC. I'm an entrepreneur. Ifeoluwa, I am an entrepreneur. Precious Akondi, I'm a corporate dress tailor. You see, like getting married, you're a guy, you need suits. Just go and meet Precious Akondi. Tumiloko Oluwole, clinical researcher. I run an academy for young adults. My name is Sekina. I'm a data analyst. I'm a teacher. And you need to, pivot your data to make better decisions. Sekina is your go-to. My name is Ikma. I am an Islamic modest clothes designer. That, that means if you want to do your nikah, anything that is modest in Islam, go to Ikma. All of you that I'm doing unpaid adverts that I did not pay for, pay me after this class. Oh. My name is Aisha Kuporala. I plan to start up my ready-to-wear female clothing business with sustainable African fabric. That makes sense. My name is Tama. I am a fashion designer and entrepreneur. Jumoke Taiwo, an educator, Muritala, educator and fashion designer. I'm a legal tool. I'm an advocate. I also run a cinema. And I also have a new founded organization by the name Future Leaders Academy. Guys, can you see that Future Leaders Academy? You can check it out. Sylvanius, myself fertilizer and chemical product for farmers in the building, an online food vendor in Titus. Same time, David, virtual assistant, textile designer, that's the metaphor, ready wear and big school brand is in Joy, recent graduate of Unilag, currently undergoing a training and next factory product designer and that of ALS. So I have my corporate here. I'm a graduate of Unilag too. DJ Joy. Yeah, don't worry. You have your co-associate here. I graduated from Unilag. I'm Bankole Balkis, entrepreneur and project manager. My name is Asiya. I run a modest. So this makes sense in Abuja. So guys who have introduced yourself, thank you so much. You don't know what you have done to yourself, right? You have actually informed someone on this call of what you do, and you never can tell. And that's the soul of this. And I'm happy that almost everybody here own a business or the other. That means this class is for you. If you have people that are supposed to be in this class and they are not in this class, you may want to reach out to them because I'm sure that they are going to miss a lot. You are going. Sorry, guys. So I'm saying that if you have any of your colleague who is not here, can you reach out to them because they're going to miss a lot. So accounting for small business. To start with, guys, let me ask you. We have two words here. In fact, you don't need to stress yourself. Be yourself. This is what you know. You know. But I'm just here to just add one or two things. So two words: accounting and small business. Right? A dive into financial management. So let me ask someone, what is accounting? What do you understand by accounting? Because I realized that the genesis of every problem starts from even when you don't understand, the subject matter. When you hear accounting, what comes to your mind? In the chat box, just quickly. No, rather than chat box, let me just have two persons on mute and tell me what you understand by accounting and what you understand by a small business or a business in general. Yes. Anyone? Accounting. Like said, bookkeeping and record keeping. All right. If you can unmute yourself too, you can do that. You just need to be sure you guys are following. Accounting. Yes. Do we have only Tolulope in the building? Counting. Somebody said it's the process, any other recording, summarizing and reporting financial transactions. I love that. Summarizing and reporting financial transactions. Now, let me ask you guys, when you hear business, what comes to your mind? What is business? If you can unmute, please do that. You are not in a very noisy place. What do you understand by business? Keeping record of sales and expenses, Valkis. Makes sense. Makes sense. You guys are solid. Business involves buying and selling, and you're like solid, solid, solid. You guys are solid. Yes. Business in Phoenix authentically. Okay, oh, is that somebody's name? Business is buying and selling. Yes, a transaction makes sense. Or they buy your iShot. It's basically giving out value. I love this. Value for profit. Value for profit. Value for profit. I love that. Thank you. Buying and selling of goods and services makes sense. Buying business is the act of buying and selling. Everybody, you are all correct. All of us are correct. So when you talk about business, like you guys mentioned, we are talking about, I love the definition one of you gave, we're talking about value for profit. That means that you cannot say you have a business if there is no value, right? Nobody, I mean, and that is why I'm going to also dive into that. And that is why a lot of businesses failed in Africa and in Nigeria. You know why? Because everybody just wants to be a business owner and not an entrepreneur. They are two different things. Everybody wants to be what? A business owner and not an entrepreneur. So I'm going to explain that even to the very, very, almost very granular and also, paint it in a way that you understand and make it real to you guys, right? Now, I mean, and when you say business, there must be an iota of profit making. Thank you guys for those that are still putting things in the chat box. I can see business involve interaction and reaching out to people, to give and get a value. Makes sense. Like that to give and get a value. That's what I'm about explaining. It falls into that when you talk about. Thank you. Now, you are giving value, right? And what do you expect in return? You expect value in return. This is suffix to say that for you to call something a business, it then means that first thing you expect to get profits, right? You cannot say something is a business if profit making is not in the mix. That is what I say. You cannot say you are running a business if profit making is not in the mix. Can somebody echo that to be sure you are following me? Oh, I don't like the way this class is too quiet. What is going on? Is it that people joined and they are cooking? You guys following me. Now I need everybody to unmute. If you are following, just say we are following.
We are
We are
following.
We are
I'm
following.
following.
following. We are
We are
following.
following.
We are
We are
following.
following, sir.
If you are following, why do you now keep
We are
quiet? I'm asking this
following.
person. I want you to
We are
unmute and answer
following.
me.
Following.
Okay, I've had you. Okay, thank you for saying you're following. I can see in the chat box. I just want to be sure. I mean, it's an interesting class that you don't want to be doing any other thing apart from this. Because I will tell you why businesses are failed, why small businesses are failed, right? Because of some little things that we don't pay attention to. And this is why I want you to pay attention here. I made mention that there cannot be a business. You cannot say you are running a business if a profit motive is not attached. That's what I said. And that's why I said I love the definition somebody gave that business is all about, exchanging value for value, right? Let me assume for someone who told us on the chat box now that she is into making pretty wares, for instance, right? What does that mean? That means if I need a corporate wear, if I need a suit, maybe I'm getting married or I'm attending a wedding ceremony or I'm going to a church or an event where I need to wear a suit, for instance. And I go meet her to say, oh, I need a pair of suits, right? And she gives me that pair of suits. What has she done? She has given me value. Then the law of exchange by default expects that I give her something in return, right, to compensate for the value she has given me, which in most cases can be money. But if you want to deep dive into maybe accounting, finance, and all, you realize that money is not the only measurement of value. And I not give you money. I can decide to say, rather than, give you money, right? I can decide to say, oh, I want to invest in your business. I mean, there are various ways of doing it, but that's not the point of contention in this class. My point is that you cannot talk about having a business if in the first place there is no profit motive or the profit motive, right, is missing, right? That's why I love that definition, exchanging value for value. Thank you for those that are saying you are following and you are with me. When I need you to unmute and speak, please do. Now, when we now say accounting for small business, do you need to cram, guys? Can somebody now help me? Accounting for small business, what do you understand? Or financial management for small businesses, what do you understand? Can somebody help me? I need you to unmute at this time. Tell me your name and tell us what you understand by accounting for small businesses.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good
Hi.
morning, sir. My name is Ifoma Isiamadu. Yes, from my own perspective, cash flow. That's how I understand it. Cash flow in your business. That's how I understand accounting in small business. Thank you.
Money formal, you are
Hello?
not very clear.
I said cash flow, sir. Cash flow. That is how I understand it. Cash flow. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense. Now, one more person. One more person.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name?
My name is Fatima Abdurrauf Rabiu. And what I understand by that question, it involves transaction of a business that comprises the expenses, the inflow, the every down thing, sir.
Breakdown. I love that. I love that. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for that. So you guys are correct, and I can see from the chat box, Mosumola is saying it is taking note of the monetary value of your service or product. That makes a lot of sense. So guys, there's something I want you to know. There is difference between bookkeeping and accounting, right? While I'm taking my time to, give you this background, is there are a lot of things I'll be talking about that is contingent on your understanding of what I'm explaining at the moment, right? The thin line between, in fact, we used to say that all accountants are bookkeepers, but not all bookkeepers are accountants. Because imagine is a question in one of your university exams, your final year, 20 marks, compulsory marks. What are you going to write? Now, when you say bookkeeping, right? Bookkeeping ends from the word bookkeeping. Ends at the point where you're trying to track your transactions, right? You are saying, oh, today I made social amount of sale. This is what I sold. This is the details of my customer. This is the unit of goods I sold. This is the price, at which I sold each of them. And this is the total money I got. And if there is discount as well, say cash discount, you also want to note it, right? That is what bookkeeping. But when you say accounting now goes a step further to now, leverage on the transaction that has been recorded to now prepare a financial information None of us here, we understand or we are told, sometimes maybe in primary school, secondary school, tertiary institution, that information is a processed data. It means that with information, you can make decisions. What accounting then helps you do is not to now summarize all those things record you have kept, your purchase record you have kept, like somebody rightly mentioned, into a format that can be easy, to make distinctions, right? That's what we usually say when people say they are data analysts, right? Even if you're a data analyst, what do you think? One thing about businesses is that if you really put everyone here, because at the end of the day, you realize I've summarized myself. And that's the point, because you are going to learn a lot today. Let me put this to you, right? If your business must thrive, one of the things you must prioritize is what making decision with what financial data. Do I say everybody? Let's take it.
Making
Making decision with
decision
financial
with
data.
financial data.
Financial data. Thank you. I need you to mute that, you know, to mute and speak. So you are with me and encourage me to, you know, teach more, right? Now, one of the reasons why businesses are food in Africa and in Nigeria, I'm going to take some statistics with this slide, is because a lot of businesses make decisions without having sufficient data. Financial data is an integral part of it. Can tell you even in my career as a finance professional that one of the reasons why businesses will fail is when you don't understand making decisions from the standpoint of data. I mean, most importantly, financial data. Give me a good instance, guys. Pay attention to me. Attention, pay attention. Imagine that I want to this now. I'm using businesses here. You guys are most of you that are into business, that's what I'll be using. Someone who is, you know, into big products that sells chemicals, and somebody mentioned that I can you can operate in a year and you evaluate your performance, the performance of your business, and you say, look, I realize that uh, my profit in 2023 is higher than my profit in 2022, right? Now, if you want to ask yourself this, see that you don't just you record an increase in profit. You don't just record an increase in profit, you jubilate, you spend, you do that. No. One of the things you want to sit back to do is to not sit down with your data and say, what is the causer factor? In science, in research, we say that when you look at models, you look at the causal effects of the model. Causal effect means you look at the cause of a particular action, and you also look at the effect of that action. You must sit back and do analysis and say, what line of business, what line of my product? Most of you're selling fertilizers, maybe selling manure, maybe selling other, things that really seeds that helps people, plant and all those things. They want to sit back and say, product line for these three things I mentioned contributed more to my profits. You now sit back, now realize that, oh, fertilizers contributed more to my profits. Could it be that people now need, maybe because of, WHO research, I think about 2 months ago, that says that in like 5 years, there will be food scarcity in Nigeria, right? Because of, the sporadic increase in, population, as well as, the point our economy, or the point our economy is at the moment, or where our economy is heading now, if you understand what I'm saying. Right. So you cannot say, oh, does it mean that people are now trying to go more into farming to make sure that they are able to beat, the World Bank population or food shortage in Nigeria? Then you now sit back, oh, it then means that then you may now want to make this one. It's okay. Let me then invest more on that product line, make more manure in the business so that I can, appeal more to more customers. I can sell more. Don't forget, in business, other things being equal, the more you sell, the more revenue you make, other things being equal. And the more it will translate to your bottom line. By bottom line, I mean the more profit you make. So whatever profit you make is a function of what you sell. Things being equal, you still need to consider cost and some other components. I will get there. Are you following? If you are following, so we are following, or I am following.
I am following.
Following.
I am
Okay.
following.
We
I'm
are
following.
following. We are following.
I'm
We are
following.
following.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks a lot. And at some point, I will ask you to put something in the chat box as well. My point is, you now sit back to say, oh, chemical, I mean, the fertilizer I'm selling is making more, so let me invest more. Rather than now maybe spend the part of your profit, you cannot say, yeah, rather than spend that profit, it's better I plug back that profit into my business. And one advice, as I told you, just realize I've summarized myself. One advice I will give you as a small business owner is that when you make profit, making profit or profit, the profit you made is not only to be expended. I mean, it's not only for you to say, oh, I have worked, at least I checked. Let us go to Paris and chop small life. I'm not against all those things, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should not enjoy it. But my point is, as a small business, one of the best way you can scale is to plug back whatever profit you have made to scale your business, to expand your business. I can also, oh, person in the agribusiness, I need 2 million in total. Okay? People 1.5 million back. Because in the early days of a small business, one of the things you want to do is to access to as much capital as possible to scale. Right? The MTN you see to stay today start from somewhere. Mention all those big companies. The Dangote you see today start from somewhere. The day I was even reading about how he started, his small businesses with an amount, one of his uncle building and all of that. You understand? You to still, if you have people like that, they would see that one of the things you need to understand at the early stage of your business is to as much funds you can get because that's what can help you scale your business. Because the more funds you have, the more you invest into the business, the more pay you have to your customer base. And the more they are willing to buy your product, you can see that. And when they are buying your product, what happens? Your sales increase, that's your revenue. And when the sales increase, what happens? Provided your cost is maintained almost at the same level, what happens? Your profit also increase. And that is the circle of businesses, right? So what I'm saying is that you now invest it into part of your business. What I'm saying is that when were you able to make that decision to invest everybody? Because in the first place, you have more financial data. I will tell you guys a story. I will tell you a story. I've been saying that businesses fail and all, and I use myself as an example. Right? Growing up, my mom owned a shop, although she's late now. She owns a shop, she sells things, to people, trade out these grocery and all those things, food stuff and all. But very, very small, I was very, very young then. I realized that there's some points before, you have a lot of, you know, goods there she's selling to people. People come around buy. Some point again, it looks like the shop is empty. Sometimes you're going to school when there is room, like you call it. There's enough of goods the shop people are coming to buy. We should give me 15 naira, I used to go and do boy in school, 15 naira, 100 naira during those times. Do big boy. At this point, I realized that she might not even give me anything. She'll tell me, "No, my son, I don't have a lot of money. You can see the shop." Then I started asking myself, as a small boy in junior secondary school, in around primary six to junior secondary school, I was asking myself, what could be the cause of this? Everything looks rosy business wise today. Tomorrow, it looks like everything has crashed. I started asking myself, what could be responsible? As a small boy, then who really didn't know much. They could not finance to that. Then I got to senior secondary school and I started doing financial accounting. You know, I started getting some, the idea of what could be the cost. And that was one of the reasons that, made me have interest in accounting. And that was one of the reasons why I went ahead to study accounting, both in the polytechnic and even in the university. Okay. I was asking myself, what could be the cost? While studying in school, I realized reasons why business fail. Why should I tell you the truth? One of the reasons why small businesses fail is they are understanding of accounting and financial management. Usually always think accounting and financial management is about money comes in, I make this whole amount of money, This is my first, and that is all. But ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you categorically from the place of authority today that one of the reasons why businesses fail is because they have no solid understanding of financial management. Neither do they have anyone of sort on their team to help them. You know, the estimate somebody might have on this call is that, well, I did not study accounting, I did not study anything business related. This is why you may also want to get someone who has that understanding on your team. If you really want to give your business your all to make sure it's okay. I mean, I went somewhere to speak lately and I was sharing, among the youth there and the young professionals there that look, one of the things I would personally advocate for until my voice is bad is that even in our curriculum, let's add a bit of business. These people, whether you are a science student, whether you're a commercial student, whether you are an art student, let there be a bit of some small elements of courses from secondary school in business. Now, people, whether regardless of your background, you have like an understanding from an informed perspective of what business is all about. My point is that yeah, businesses fail because they don't understand or they don't have understanding of financial data. I want somebody to put in the chat box from today henceforth, I will understand financial management. I will do better for my from today henceforth, I promise myself to do better for my business. Put it in the chat box. And today henceforth, I promise myself, right? Thank you, Tolu. Yes, I can see. You are following, always following. From today henceforth, I will understand financial management. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you. Thank you.
From today henceforth,
Olajumoke,
I understand financial management.
thank you. Thank you. From today henceforth, I understand Badmouth, I can see Former, I can see Adebayo, Eshat, I can see. Eniola Robert, I can see. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. Can you mute yourself? Mute yourself if you are not speaking. Uh, see that by the time I'm done, you realize that I've even put almost everything about small businesses. Now, let's see a bit about the business 2022. I think that the most clear reason of losing control of business is when you lose control of your valuable asset. Then the valuable asset everybody information. Information is about, I've explained that already. Information is a valuable asset. And that there's a report my PwC I read, I think about 2 months ago, that small businesses contribute about 40% to Nigerian GDP. I mean, businesses generally. And it doesn't mean that yeah, even the new oil now, business is the new oil. We are now getting to understand that look, solar job is not sustainable. We are beginning to look beyond that. Also, there is statistics by Forbes in 2023 that look, 20% of retail business are expected to take place online now. We massive will increase by 10.4%. So that tells us that businesses will take place online. If we even start with, I'm sure everybody on this call is an online presence for your business. Am I correct? You still say yes, yes. Everybody have an online business. I mean, they will have an online presence. Key trend for your businesses, right? Is business tax. You need to tell this story in a light panel. Now, one of the uh, things is to even discussion, even getting to facilitate sessions like this with network. I say it sometimes. I mean, the first time we met was, I mean, somebody from the company just checked my LinkedIn profile and was like, oh, we want to do this. And we see that, oh, we are into this and all of that. And why the person contacted me. And I did it to get paid. And before you know it, and from there, the relationship, works one. What am I saying? If I did not have an online presence for myself, my own profile, what I do personally, I mean, there might not be anything for somebody next not to even, contacting me to do something for them. So, again, we refer to anybody on this call, if your business does not have an online presence or your online presence is not solid enough, then you can make something on that. So, let's begin to move gradually. This business accounting, from gradually analyzing financial information on your biggest activities. And I've said it, guys, even for the businesses and for your financial management is to make decisions, is to make informed is to make informed decision. One person is on mute. Okay, let me mute the person. Thank you. Is to make informed decision. Guys, you need to be playing a financial system to make informed decision. It's very, very important. Let's move because this is a small business. What is it? Attention here. If you're not paying attention since, you have to pay attention here. Not in the chat box. If you're not paying attention, you are wrong. You unmute yourself and say it before you are with him. If you are not paying attention, you are wrong. Nobody is talking. Unmute. Put in the chat box. If you are not
Can
paying
hear
attention,
you.
you are wrong.
Sir, no, your network is very poor.
Your voice is not very clear.
Definitely, I'm getting you very low.
Is it better now?
Yes, the line is not very clear. A
I
little.
said, is it
Yes,
better now?
yes.
Much better.
Oh, apologies. Apologies, please. Immediately you can't hear me, just let me know. You know Nigerian network. I don't know what's wrong with MTN. I mean, it's not the first time I'm on call like this, but I don't know what's wrong this one. It's better now, you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can.
The last thing you have, so that I'll just make sure I didn't miss anything. The last thing you had, so I'll just continue from there. Hello.
It's from
What was
this
the last
slide. You
thing
were
you had?
talking about this slide.
Yes,
That's
I hear you now.
Okay. I just want to be sure. Right. So I'm saying that this is a small business, and I'm saying that if you have not been paying attention, you need to pay attention here. Put into the chat box. I think you are telling yourself, if you are not paying attention, you are wrong. Tell yourself, if you are not paying attention here, you are wrong. Because this place, I'm going to explain some things to you about small businesses, particularly the regulatory framework of small businesses. Right? So guys, let's get into it. Now, this is a small business. To Company and Allied Matters Act 2020. Company and Allied Matters Act is SAMA 2020. Is an act in Nigeria that governs all businesses in Nigeria. And this SAMA is administered by a government agency known as CAC. I put it in the chat box. CAC, not Christ Apostolic Church. Somebody is saying you cannot hear me, but another person said they can hear me. So somebody saying if you are not paying attention, you are wrong. It means they can hear me. I mean, somebody even just sent one
I
now.
can
So it shows that they can hear me.
hear you, sir.
If you are not hearing me, I think it's your network. So if you are not hearing me, it's your network. Others can hear me. So I said, Company and Related Matters Act KAMA is administered by CAC. CAC is not Christ Apostolic Church. It's Corporate Affairs Commission. Corporate Affairs Commission. It's on the chat box already. Corporate Affairs Commission. The Corporate Affairs Commission is an agency of the government
Corporate
that
Affairs
seeks to,
Commission.
yes, correct. It's an agency of the government that speaks to, the incorporation, registration incorporation and winding up of businesses in Nigeria. So when it comes to you know, businesses in Nigeria, they are in charge and they have an act, right, that governs businesses, that every business owner must understand the provision called the Company and Alien Matters Act, that's CAM 2020. This CAMA, we usually have CAMA 2004, but in 2020, it was amended. Now, what I now want you to know that I realize most people don't know is that in the face of the Nigerian law, that's CAMA, who is a small business? Or how does that law perceive a small business? Now, a small business is any private company that may be limited by shares. What do we mean by limited by? In fact, we even start with, how many of us have registered our business? If you have registered your business, put in the chat box, yes. If you have not registered your business, don't be shy. Put in the chat box, no. I have a reason for asking that. Okay, Adebayo, yes. Tolulope, yes. Obele, yes. Precious, yes, registered, yes. Everybody here seems to have registered. Okay. If you have not registered and you get others to say yes, you know yourself. All right. You say it's easy, no, said no. Udo said no. Techno VC3 said no. Oh, makes sense. I love this. He said, and Jesus said no. Now, for those who have registered your business, that makes sense. It's good you've done that. For those who have not registered your business, you need to go and register your business. And it's not a lot to even register business now, right? I think with 25,000 thereabouts, you can do that, or even less, right? Now, the implication of not registering your business is that number one, in the face or in the eyes of the law, your business is not known. Number two, whatever name your business is bearing, there is every tendency that that name has been taken by someone else. I mean, this is not a business management class, but maybe I need to treat that in just on the side. And you are aware that how far a business will go is also connected to its brand. And when you say brand, one of what constitutes the brand of a business is your name, the name you have made for yourself over time, right? Alhaji Aliko Dangote is not the owner, he's not the sole owner of Dangote Group, but he's a majority shareholder. And that name made waves in Nigeria, in Africa, and all over the world. When you attempt to say, "Oh, you want to change the name from Dangote Group to another name," in fact, even if you mess with that name, they can sue you. Just like some situation that happened some years ago when Unilag was to be renamed to Maulag. Some of us who knew about this already knew at that time. You know, the Unilag community resist renaming of Unilag to Maulag at that time. Who can tell me why? What was the main reason why they resisted Unilag to be renamed to Maulag, Moshood Abiola University, Lagos? Who can tell me? Bless you. This Tolulope is always following you. God bless you because Unilag is the brand name. That's where I'm going. Bless you for this Tolulope. You are spot on. Unilag is the brand name. With this name Unilag, the school has been ranked all over the world on the Times Higher Education. A lot of professors has won globally recognized scholarship awards. A lot of Unilag students, have won scholarship across different universities, Harvard, to mention a few, in different countries, all over the world. And even in Nigeria, generally, that brand name is just there. Even when the we usually say there are only two universities in Nigeria. I'm not trolling any other person here. We say Unilag another university. And even up till now, when you approach a person, I'm even speaking from experience, right? And you just say you are from Unilag. There's this kind of, there's this brand name like, you are from Unilag. And the little places I've been, there is virtually maybe not a Nigerian company that you be at that you hardly not see maybe someone who had one way or the other graduated from uni. I mean, there was a time I was doing an interview some time ago, And on the interview panel, I just mentioned that, oh, we can see graduate from Unilag. You're like, oh, two of us on this, interview, um, session, I also from Unilag. And before you know it, rather than now talking about the main interview turned to you. Oh, you studied accounting. Do you remember social professor? Do you understand? My point is that name, Unilag, is a brand name. This is why, and the name is well known to everyone. Thank you. This is why they resisted the federal government from changing the name, because it's like saying we want to throw the name we built over the years. Even if you see, and you want us to now start all over again, and that's why they resisted. So my point for registration, why I'm advising everyone this job to go and register is that the name you are using might be, you might have built something, remarkable with that name. At that time, people know you in your community, in your immediate environment, in your church, even in your state. But that name is not registered. Right? If you now approach CAC to register your business and you want to reserve your name, they tell you that name has been taken, you have to find another name. Then that can be, it can have an impact on your business. In this strategy, we call it reputational risk. What do I call it? Reputational risk. How reputational risk? The risk that the business might lose the reputation he has built over time. What is the summary of all these things I'm saying? Go and register your business if you have not. It's very important. Now, somebody said in the chat box that I registered the business for just 20,000 naira. So you may want to also do that. It's a small business in the eye of Family and Indian Matters Act. It's not a private company limited like here, right? He has no reputational risk. Thank you for telling me. He has no foreign shareholders. You don't need those ones. His director would not less than 21% of the shares. You don't need those ones. None of his members is a government or government agency or nominee. You don't need those ones. Where I am now going is this. In the heights of power, you are a small business. When your annual turnover is not more than, hey, who is that person? Mute yourself now. Victoria Oluwaseun. Thank you. Right? So, um, you have a turnover of not more than 120 million naira. What does that mean? Your sales in a year, once your sale is 0 to 120 million, you are a small business. That's meaning of turnover, your revenue, the money you have made from selling what you have been registered to sell. Once it's not 120 million, you are a small business. And once your net asset value is also no more than 60 million, you are a small business in Nigeria. Are you guys following me? I am sure I've
Yes,
done
sir.
webinar seminars
Yes,
where
sir.
a
We are
lot of small businesses
following.
are not even, they are not aware of this. They are not aware. Thank you for following. Thanks a lot. They are not aware of this. And it's important that you are aware of this, right? It's important. However, after March 2020, there is something known as Finance Act 2019, in fact, 2020, 2021, 2022 up to 2023, right? 2019 to 2023, yes. Finance now came to say, I mean, if you know the spirit of finance act is look, the government was now trying to look, that's COVID, that COVID-19 and all of that. So the government was now trying to look at how they can make sure, the Nigerian government, how they can make sure that we have a business-friendly environment. One of the things that instituted this finance to make sure that we now encourage people to do businesses. One of the things they now did was to classify companies into three, according to Finance Act 2019, 2020, 2021, and even 2023. It was still amended up to 2023. Yes. And what they now did was that, look, for you to be a small company, your turnover is not, Karma is saying your turnover, that's your revenue. The money you make from your sales will be less than or equal to 120 million. Finance Act is not saying that no. Your turnover should only be less than or equal to 25 million. It should not be up to 120 million. Right? Now, the question somebody will now ask me, or I expect somebody to ask me is that Kama is saying, no, your turnover is as long as it's 120 million, it's no more than 120 million. Even if it's 120 million, 190 million and 99, you are still a small company. And Finance Act is saying 25 million. Which one should we follow? The question is the one you follow is finance, because FIRS is Federal Inland Revenue Service. right? Federal Inland Revenue Service, right? And Federal Inland Revenue Service, let me help you throw a bit of light to it, right? Federal Inland Revenue Service is established in 2007 by the FRS establishment. And what the Federal Inland Revenue Service is established for majorly is to ascertain, collect, and account for all taxes accruable to the federal government of Nigeria. I repeat, FRS is established in 2007 by the Nigerian authority to help them ascertain, collect, and account for taxes that are accruable to the federal government. I know why I'm saying all these things. That's why I'm telling you that there is a lot you will learn in this session. Now, as a business, every company in Nigeria, the taxes on them is payable to the FRS because every taxes every business is paid is a revenue accruable to federal government only, regardless of the state where you are operating. Your company income tax is a federal government revenue. And that's why you see that for some of you who have registered your business, you'll be asked to file returns. And when you file returns, if there is any company income tax, you'll be asked to remit the company income tax to FRS. Before we usually go to FRS physically and make returns. But now, all thanks to the former chairman of FRS, that's Mohammed Nabi, that digitalized the FRS space. Now there's something known as Axpromax. Axpromax is a platform by FRS where you can file your return and pay your tax from the comfort of your home. You don't need to go to any bank. You don't need to, you know, to any FRS office. You just pay from the comfort of your home. Now, maybe I digress a bit because I want to make sure Tax Pro Max, thank you in your life. I want to make sure that, yes, I want to make sure that you guys get as much as possible from this session beyond the rhetoric, right? Can your life saying something? You can even get yes, you can get your TCC from Tax Pro Max. Correct, Eniola. Thank you for that contribution. Now, let me say this. How many of you, your business is registered and you file returns, right? If you know you file return for your business, put in the chat box yes. If you don't, put no. I have a reason for asking. I told you by the time we spend 2 minutes, you realize that everything I have on the slide has been discussed already. Okay? Ifena said yes. Adeni said yes. Eniola said yes. I just registered this. It makes sense. Now, of course, I just registered this. Please unmute and share with us your experience. The reason for doing this, so pay attention. Okay, can you unmute and share your experience since you just registered this year? What was the registration process like? What did you do? What was requested from you?
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I actually did not register it by myself. I had a friend who registered it for me, and she asked me, to fill out, send a couple of important information, my address, the type of business I want to register, the name. She first checked if the name was available, and then after I filled all of the information, she then proceeded to register the company for me.
To register the company on Tax Pro Max or register the company with CAC.
With CAC.
With CAC, okay. Thanks a lot. I thought you
Yes,
were
sir.
speaking to register on Tax Pro Max. Thank you for that. I'm grateful. Now,
All right.
this person that has always been following me, Ululope, yes. But Ululope, can you unmute and share with us how your filing process is like? I'm doing this for other persons here who have not been filing to let them learn from that. Oh yeah, please, you have the floor, Ululope.
My business is newly registered, so I haven't started the filing yet.
Okay, when did you register?
That was in August.
This year, right?
Yes, sir.
Just this year. That makes lots of sense. That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have anyone here who has been filing, who filed for last year, for instance?
Okay, yes, I did.
Please go ahead, share your experience. I have a reason for asking you. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Ifoma Cynthia Maduna.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Okay.
registered my business 2021, and
Makes
within that
sense.
2021 till early this year, I didn't do my annual returns because one, I didn't know how to go about it. I went online, but I discovered that some other people's review, they pay through a particular portal by themselves, but by the time their businesses are inactive on CAC portals as a result of non-payment of their annual return, they after the payment, they still don't get it activated. So this time I took the services of a lawyer who did the registration for me and forwarded me receipt. So I made all that through a lawyer. It was easier for me and my business was deactivated. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot for that, granular explanation. Okay. Why am I asking this, guys? Before I even speak to finance part, why am I asking this, guys? Please, if you have registered your business, you need to file returns. And I will tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Now, why do you need to file returns? Um, oh, guys, please give me a second. Just a second. A second. Guys, thank you. So, why am I saying this? This Finance Act is saying that as a small company, as long as the money you are making in a year, when we add it together, 25 million, you're a small company. It's not saying that your CIT is company income tax, will be zero. See that in Nigeria are exempted from company income and are also exempted from tertiary education tax, PET, of a small company. Now, as when anybody or many of us, their businesses are small company, right? We don't need up to 25 million in a year. When you add all your revenue together, the money you get from selling whatever you do or rendering your service. But because finance tax is now saying that you are not supposed to pay any tax. The tax should be zero. The question is, does it now mean you should not file returns? The answer is no. I have gotten this response so many times on different webinars and sessions. The answer is no. The fact that the act is saying if you are a small businesses, you are not paying any tax, does not mean you should not file returns. What do you mean by filing returns? On an annual basis, when you go to after you have registered on tax format, that's why I ask others to share their experience. So I will not only be the one talking about it, right? For those who are at hands-on experience, so you hear from your colleague here on this phone. Now, when you go to tax format portal, you have registered. When you log in, you see a section. You see the person, you'll be asked what is your revenue for the year. You click, you input it. Oh, I've made 20 million. What is your expense for the year? You put it there. It automatically help you calculate your profit and your payment has been programmed already to recognize the provisions of the law. So when you see that your revenue is less than 25 million, immediately it will return your CIT to be zero and your TET to be zero. Then you cannot go ahead to get your clearance certificate. However, if you are not a small business, you are like a medium, size business to a large business, and maybe your turnover is like 40 million, maybe you put in the stomach automatically calculate your tax, affect you to tax based on 20% of your profit. It is your revenue minus allowable expenses. I'm not in a tax class, so I will not take all the time to explain that, right? If you need, further explanation on that, you may want to get the service of a tax professional or you may want to reach out to me, right? But what you need to know is that tax automatically helps you calculate the tax you are paying. And if you have to pay any tax, you can also pay via the portal the amount of tax due. And after you've done that, you get your receipt, you get your tax clearance. Why do you need that, guys? The reason why you need that is that there's a time of the year where FRS go for what we call tax audits, right? They begin to knock on the doors of companies and ask them, send us evidence that you have remitted tax. It's one thing to file returns. It's another thing to pay. It's another thing to pay tax. It's also another thing to have paid your tax fully, because the FRS also provide that you pay your tax in sometimes, right? And it's after you have paid your tax, fully. Then, in fact, even if you didn't pay it fully, your tax clearance certificate will show what you have paid and the amount that is due. The point I'm making is that when you have paid tax, you then get an evidence that you have paid tax. The FRS now start knocking and they start asking, if you don't have all these things, for instance, company income tax 2004 as amended also stipulates penalties. Number one, for late filing of return. Number two, for failure to pay or to remit. Number three, for failure to even comply with tax authority should they come to audit you. And the most grievous offense in tax law is physical assault on tax professionals when they come to your premises to conduct tax audit. As a matter of fact, it is the only offense that the punishment is punishable by 6 years in prison with no option of fine. The point is, we don't FRS have the power, according to the FRS establishment, to shut down your business if you don't pay all your meetings. Right? Again, reputational risk. So my point is the fact that as a small business where your turnover is less than 5 million, your company income tax is new, does not mean you should not file returns. And the fact that you don't, what's the word? And the fact that you don't company income tax does not mean as a small business you are not liable to other tax. It does not mean you are not liable to other tax like withholding tax, or you are not liable to other tax like value added tax. In a case where your supply is under the approved supply under the value added tax of 2004, it's amended, right? So, in some regards, my point is, as a business, Finance Act is saying, as a small company, you're a small company where your turnover is less than 25 million, and your company income tax is new, education tax is new. You're a medium-sized company where your turnover varies between 25 million, that's above 25 million to 100 million. You're a medium-sized company. And now you are now allowed to pay 20% of your profit for the year as company income tax to be remitted to FRS, and you pay 3% at tertiary education tax. Before tertiary education tax used to be 2%, according to Tax Establishment Act 2011. Later it became 2.5 in Finance Act 2019. By Finance Act 2022-2023, it was now increased to 3%. The conversation here again is that why should companies pay tertiary education tax? All of you here have gone to school and you graduated from a a university. If you went to a federal university like myself, and there's some building in your school, you see something like Tech Fund, maybe 2011, like ETA 2004. So, we have seen that before. Tech Fund on a building, or an asset, it could be a generator in your school. You Tech Fund Intervention 2012, you see education tax, you see ETA 2006. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes.
Bless you. So this person, this TT saying that company in
Yes,
Nigeria
you have.
should contribute to the educational sector, because the government realized at that point that the alone cannot fund the educational deficit in Nigeria, the educational need in Nigeria. It's the need to now create a small levy for companies to pay 10% of their adjusted profit or accessible profit to a fund that the government has created. If you understand what a fund means in public sector, fund is like a head or a vote is created a purpose. So we have to create that fund, that is third fund, special education trust fund, where companies in Nigeria pay 3% of their accessible profits into. That fund is now governed by, they have a board of trustees and a chairman who now distribute that money to all special education in Nigeria based on their needs. How does it work? Let me come on here, right? If at the end of the day, all of us pay 3%, maybe the amount in that fund is 15 billion naira. You should now make requisition to that fund to say, oh, we need a library. For this library that we want to construct, after they've demonstrated the cost benefit analysis, that CBA, okay, what's the cost of this? What is the benefit of building this library to this? After they've demonstrated all that, then they will now go to that fund and say, okay, that fund, we need to build this, we don't have the resources. So we now give, I think, about 85% of that project cost. So if to build the library costs 20 billion, if that fund has approved this, they will now give 85% of 20 billion, right? 85% of 20 billion, that's about 8 times 8, that's 64. That's about 640 million naira. Then the school will now finance about 15%. They will now build that structure. Next building that structure, that's where they will now put that in the intervention water. It means that building, about 5% of the money spent in building or in erecting that structure was provided by third firm. As a matter of fact, if you are conversant with Unilag, you will see that I'm using Unilag as an example for you so that you understand. If you 40 of art, for instance, that building was constructed from monies received from third fund. And that's why you see there's a fund at the fifth floor, somewhere at the left hand corner, you see third fund, I think 2011 or so. If you also proceed in Unilag and you go to the Senate chamber, opposite Senate House, or Council chamber, opposite Senate House, painted green, you will see a generator there also, one power plant there. You also see FGN intervention fund. So my point is, these are the monies that are now accumulated to, apply to the needs of special education in Nigeria. If you go to the likes of Yaba Tech too, you see structures that have TED fund. And if you see ETF too, don't be bothered. Before it was restructured to TED fund 2011, it used to be ETF, Education Trust Fund, right? So this is what this works. So the story of what I'm saying is that if you're a small company, you are not eligible or you are exempted to pay company income tax and tertiary education tax. Are you following? Are you getting something? Are you getting something? Somebody said, yes, we have in Yabate. Yes. Are you getting something? Are
Yes,
you
we are.
learning something? Or I'm
Yes,
just speaking? Yeah. I want to be
Yes,
sure.
I
Yes,
don't
sir.
Yes,
understand.
yes,
The
sir. We
network
are
yes,
getting you, sir.
is kind of breaking. I don't know. We are getting you, but the network is quite bad. Hmm.
Could it be from your
I,
end?
I have a
Internet
question,
appears.
sir. I have a
Huh?
question,
Yeah.
sir.
Your
Are you
question,
hearing me,
quickly.
sir? Yes.
Correct. That's your question.
Okay. Yeah. My name again is Informer. So I want to ask, you started with small company, the small business. Now you're talking about the medium company. Can you explain the difference between a small business and a startup?
A small business and a startup. Eh,
Yes, sir.
I feel like
What's the difference?
it's grammar. It's grammar, but let me explain something. What is
Okay.
a small business? A small business can also be a startup. But one thing about startups lately is that the intention of startups from the onset is to fail. And most times, in the context of finance that I'm explaining, a startup might not be a small business, depending on the turnover. Now, a business can just start this year, for instance, and by next year, their turnover already is like 100 million naira. In the face of finance tax and chemicals, payment and remittance, such business is a large company and to pay tax to the tune of 30% of the company income. You pay their company income tax to the tune of 30% of their profits, which is not always the case. But when you talk about a small business in the face of finance tax, it means that your turnover is 25 million naira or equal to 25 million naira, right? Even if you are just starting, but your turnover is less than 25 million. In the face of the you can become startup, as a business thing. But in the face of Finance Act, you are a small business because your turnover have not exceeded 25 million, right? Are you with me? So generally, it's a
Yes.
nomenclature issue. A startup can
Okay.
also be a small business in the face of Finance Act, provided your turnover is still within the 25 million range. Maybe I
So
startup, for instance, and
it's about the figures.
yes, it's about the figure. That's my point. In the context of paying, it's about the figure. In
Okay.
the context of paying tax. However, there's some grants that are also available to startups, beyond Nigeria, right? And what you see startups doing, particularly fintechs, is that most of them, because of the aggressiveness to scale, and most times another thing about startups is that they are available to a lot of capital options and funding. For instance, they are available to capital and funding like venture capitalists, people that will come in, pump money, people who believe in the prospects of the business. And one of the things startups usually do, because of the aggressiveness to scale, particularly fintech, is that most of them will not be incorporated in Nigeria. They can go to as far as the US, go and incorporate and register their business. The intention might be to operate globally or still come back in Nigeria to even operate as well. But they will go and incorporate in the US. A lot of these people, this view that, oh, we are stubborn. I mean, we are reliable. If it comes to an average things mind is, oh, if a business is incorporated in the US, do you know the rigor in getting license in the US, for instance? It shows that in a way, you know, the US government would have done um, you know, some due diligence that can tell us that, okay, this business has a high prospect now, or they can actually come back to Nigeria to operate. My point is that stop is a nomenclature thing, right? It's just a nomenclature thing, right? The point is, startups generally is a nomenclature thing. You can be a startup and you're a small business depending on where your turnover falls. If for I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Very clear.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Ifoma. Yes, I think I need to use the next few seconds to answer questions. We'll soon end the class in like 25 minutes. That's by 12. We'll end the class, right? Um, but let me just attend to question briefly. If you have question, okay, Chimi said I learned from Ifoma question. Okay, thanks a lot. If you have question now, the floor is open. Let's take question for the next 5 minutes before I proceed. Any question?
Sir, I have a question.
Fine.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Fine. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Go ahead. Can anyone else hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think it's a network. Okay. Somebody said I started my business in 2019. That's Chimo Winfred. It's good while file my returns. Not something difficult. All you need to do, just put on Google. If your business is registered, right? Put on Google, register my business. I mean, um, Promax, register for filing on tax Promax. It takes you to the portal of FRS. You register yourself there. All the documents needed will be requested for. Once your account is approved, then you can now begin to file returns. It's as easy as it. Once that answers your question, Chime Winfrey. Right, 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 right. Thank you. So moving on. Since you guys don't have questions, you have scholars. Let me move on. Okay, Taiwo Okoyemi said, how do we file with CAC? You file with
I have
yes.
a question, sir.
Okay, before that, sorry, let me answer Taiwo Okoyemi. Yes, you need to file with CAC. But in most cases, all you need to file with CAC, in most cases, there are extraordinary things, right? CAC also requires that you make some small, small filings. Sometimes CAC wants to know the revenue you have also made, right? So I am unsure whether you can file with CAC online. I am unsure. I'm not 400% sure about that. But I know that CAC also requires that you file. And also, on the camera, there are penalties for not filing. Are you guys aware? There are penalties for not filing on CAC as well. Because, for instance, I know about public company, for instance, because I've interacted more with them, right? Public company, for instance, with CAC, for instance, you must file, right? You must file your annual general meeting, your the minute of your meeting with CAC, your secretary, through your secretary, you must file it every quarter when you have meeting, you file it to CAC, right? And also, in any case you need an extraordinary meeting for public companies now, no, for full-blown companies, I'm aware that you must file to the CAC, for instance, if in any case there is a restructuring on your board of directors, you are restructuring it, you file to CAC. Also, if as much as if your auditor is resigning his office, right? The auditor is resigning his office and you're appointing a new auditor and all of that. CAC also require that you file with them. Are you guys with me? For small companies, yes, you are also to file your revenue and some other things, but I'm unsure whether you can file, online. Yes, you can also file online. Yeah, I just confirmed now. You can file online, probably with CAC also, right? All you need to do is just to log into their platform as well. So once you log in, you see a part there that speaks to file your annual returns. Yes, you also file your annual return with CAC. The annual return, and when we say annual return, this is what most of small business don't know. Annual return, we mean your profit or loss statement, your statement of financial position, right? If um your remittance, your BOT, if you're a vegetable person, if also as a small business, extra income you have, if you are also supposed to pay withholding tax as well, you are also required to also remit and some other documents. So you also remit with CAC every year as well. Somebody said, how do I make my account active? Oh, honestly, I think what you can do is to go online and pick, reach out to the office of CAC, right? They will be able to help to return your account from dormant to active. Yes. If you don't file with CAC, your business status will not be reactivated. Yes, Ifoma, thank you for that. Yes, I think I've answered almost all the questions. Or is there any other question I've missed? If I have, let me know before I move on. Before I
Okay,
move
yes.
on quickly.
Good afternoon, sir.
Go ahead,
My
please.
question is this: since for a small company, the CIT and TET is new, when you log into tax program, how
You
do
are, you
you
are, you are
print
breaking.
it
You
out
you are
as
breaking.
evidence so that it was come? Since the
Print
network is
what? Print what
hello,
as evidence?
I mean when you file it in the tax promax portal, since the
Yes.
TET and CIT is new, how do you
Yes.
print it out to show tax auditors when they come to your office to audit your tax?
It's not a challenge at all, right? Once it's showing you, right, takes you to the place of payment, right? You need to do, right? Is just to you can also request for your tax clearance certificate. Your tax clearance certificate will tell you that because your tax clearance certificate, among other things, is supposed to show the name of your business, supposed to show the relevant year of assessment, it's also supposed to show your fees upon which tax is supposed to be charged, right? And it's supposed to also show the that is charged or paid for that year of assessment. Also, it will show the amount of tax you have paid. Should in case you pay a portion of that tax, or you won't pay everything. And at the end of the day, it now shows the net tax due. Next tax due is what tells us whether you are owing or not. And of course, because your CIT is new, your net tax due will renew. So this is enough to show tax auditor when they come. And even when they come, another thing is if you are filing your return from their end, they can also get the details and log in and see the history of your returns. If you get what I'm saying. So it's not a challenge at all. And apart from that, you too, as you are filing your returns, you have an archive where you see all your returns. A business, you should have it's a cloud-based archive where, as you are filing, you are keeping those documents there. So, not anybody, not even tax studies alone. There are grants for small businesses. And some of the things they request for is your financial statement. How do you get them out if you have not been keeping them, right? So I also advise a small business to maintain a cloud-based storage option. I mean, there are a lot of them. There is Adobe Cloud Storage. You have a portion of it that is free until maybe you exceed the capacity, the storage capacity, and you have to pay month on month. You also even Google Mail too. Your Google Drive, you can also use that. So I hope that answers your question, please.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
I hope you guys are getting value and you are learning one or two things, right? This is
Please, I have
important
a
too.
question.
Okay, well, ask me. I hope we'll not finish the session with questions. But it's okay, I'm glad because the most important thing is after this class, you must have learned something new that you can apply to your business and all of that. Please, you have the floor, please. Your name. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So my name is Tolulope, and I wanted to ask for those whose businesses are just newly registered, and as we've talked about this tax returns, do we have to wait till like is a year for our business, or does it have to be like at the end of every year? Like for example, I registered my business in August, and does it mean that I have to file my taxes by December, or do I have to wait till next year August to file my taxes?
Now, thank you for that beautiful question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Tolulope, you are breaking. Can you hear me? Or can any other person hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
We can hear
Yes,
you. We can
sir.
hear you.
Tolulope's this thing is very clear too.
We can hear you, sir.
So, guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
sir.
hear you, sir.
All right, thank you. Tolulope, if I get your question, I think I get your question, right? You were asking at, as a newly incorporated business, are you supposed to fund your returns? It's a beautiful question. I love that, right? Let me help you with the provisions of company and alien matter tax, right? With respect to new companies. Now, when a business is incorporated, actually, you have the what we call grace period or moratorium. Company, when you're going to a large company, you're not a small business, you're a large company, for instance. You have moratorium to file your return the end of your first counting year or 18 months after incorporation, whichever is earlier. Are you following me? This is important, and I need you to understand it. Are you there?
Yes, I'm following, but your volume is very low.
My volume is low. Is it better
Yes, I'm
now?
here.
Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
I said that a large company, I want to start with a large company before I talk about small business. As a large company, the act specifies that once the business is incorporated, your returns to be filed 6 months time. No, sorry. Your return to be filed at the end of your first accounting year end or 18 months after incorporation, whichever is earlier. I will explain that. Now, listen to me. Let me assume you're a large company. You are one MTN that just got incorporated in, say, June this year. And your financial year end is December 31st. The financial year end, please take note. Financial year end means the accounting year end for your business. You have said, oh, my business accounting year end will be 1st of January to 31st of December every year. Some companies, their own is not January to December. Some company, it might be February of one year to January of next year. Some company is July of current year to June of next year. The Nigerian law allows you to pick any 12 months, any month that works for you, but it must be a 12 calendar month. Whether you want to say, for me, my birthday is August. So for my business, my accounting year will be from August to, if it's from August, that means the next 12 months will be July of the next one. No wahala. But for simplicity purpose, so that I will not play with people's choice, particularly when you have complete months and all of that. Let's apply the simple one. Your accounting year is 1st of January to December every year. In fact, it's stated in your memorandum of association, right? When your business is approved and all of that. It means that by 31st December every year, or by the next year, your financial statement should be prepared 31st December every year. So this year that you just got registered, you have only spent 6 months because you are registered on June 1st. That means July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 6 months only. You must prepare your financial statement to 30th September. From that 1st of July that you started operation, 31st July this year, you must prepare your financial statement. And you should start with PhD as a small business. However, you may also give a base load on you're a business, not a small business, like a company. Not a company that you are just incorporated. There's every tendency that you are trying to stabilize. Okay, we can give you 18 months. 18 months means that July to December this year, till December next year, that's 18 months. 18 months from July this year is December 2025. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? The person who asked the question, I want to be sure you are following me.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is important.
Yes, sir. I'm following you.
So the law now says that whichever is earlier is what you will pick. Now, let me ask you, out of 6 months of your accounting year, and that's July to December, that's your accounting year in this year, and 18 months of next year, which one is earlier?
This year.
One is earlier this year. So this means that you could file your return like 31st December this year. And saying on but however, that's for a large company. For a small company like a sole proprietorship business, the moratorium you have is 12 months after incorporation, right? You have 12 months after incorporation. Are you good with me?
Yes, I'm with you, sir. I hear you clearly.
You have 12 months after incorporation to file returns. However, like the explanation I'll give you, if the accounting year end is December, for instance, so we have that for consistency's sake. If you have, even if you have not made any sale, the returns close 0, cost 20,000. Left at the end of the day, 20,000, file the return. Like expect December, make sure that you are consistent with your accounting year end. Do you understand what I'm saying? But as a small business, the law still permits you that you have 12 months to 18 months to do the filing. But I would advise that once you determine your accounting year end, file at your accounting year end of the nearest month closest to when your business is incorporated. Do you get my point? For instance, the person who said Eniola said mine is April to March, for instance. April to March. Let me now assume that Eniola business was incorporated the same let me say Eniola business was incorporated January this year. You know, normally I said that it is done April to March. How many months is left for him or for his business to get to the current accounting year, January to March? January includes that's how many months, everybody? 3 months. If I were Eniola or if I'm supposed to be Eniola, I will prepare my financial statement for that 3 months from my date of incorporation to my first accounting year, that's March that year, 3 month statement, and I will file it. So that from 1st of April, I have started another new year to next year March. So you don't have an inconsistency in your financial report where you start prorating. Prorating can be confusing, especially if you don't have a financial or accounting background. It can be very confusing when you now start prorating to say, okay, if the income for the remaining 18 months is 5 million, so I know the income for the first accounting year. You now be counting with your finger. How many months is in the first accounting year? 4 months. And income is 18 months. That means I will say 4 over 18 times that income. That will be for the first 4 months of the accounting year. Then the other 12 months will be for that year. That can be confusing. You get? It's important to file it. The accounting year immediately closes to your incorporation date. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, he answers my question. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Wilfred, okay, I see what you're saying. You can check me up on LinkedIn. Yeah, you can check me up on LinkedIn. Yeah, you can reach out. You can reach out. You want to prepare your financial statement for your small company as well to file. You can also reach out, right? And so you're going to ask this on a lighter note. I hope everybody on this call has a business account, an account separate from a personal account. In other words, your business account is separate from your private account. If yes, put yes in the chat box. If no, put no. And your last say yes. Somebody said I have a question. I'm coming. No more yet. Somebody said, what's your full name on LinkedIn? I have a business bank account. Okay, yes, no. Yes, separate. Makes sense. Yes. Now, guys, why am I asking all these questions? If it is no, we are not here to shake table or to count anybody. No, that's why we are here. If it is no, it's not hard for. But let me just tell you the implication of not having a business account. The implication, very, very simple. The implication is that number one, you cannot apply for grants. You cannot apply for grants. That's number one. And number two is that it will be so difficult to prepare a financial statement that reflects the true picture of the economic activity that are taking place in your business. Somebody said, oh, why is he speaking all this down? Let me calm down this. What I'm saying is that if your business account is not separate from your personal account, it is difficult for us to reliably measure, transactions that have to do with your personal. And let me tell you the truth. Here, the message that pass across to anyone, somebody who is financially sound, right, is that you don't know what you are doing with as a business. And is that you have the intention to probably to probably engage in on sharp practice. What in accounting we call accounting engineering. You know, there's engineering in accounting. Accounting engineering, or what we call creative accounting. That's what it means. What am I saying, guys? I'm begging you in the name of God. If you have a business, in fact, if your business is even registered, there's no way you can have a registered business if you don't have a business bank system requirement. For those saying no, is also a testament that probably your business is not registered, right? I want to beg you, if you mean business and you want to try, right, in this line, I will beg you that you have a business account in the name of your business. And every transaction that has to do with your business must pass through that account. I'll also share a story with you briefly. You see, there's something we call forensic audits. It's different from the normal audit. I'll explain. Forensic audit is different from the normal audit because normal audit comes to check your entire financial statement to express an opinion whether a financial statement shows you true or fair view. The forensic audit checks a particular part of your business. So the purpose of checking whether everything you have done is in compliance with relevant regulatory framework, right? For instance, we can have a forensic service in the cash flow of a business. That means that I'm not looking at any other thing. What I'm just looking at is the cash flow. And when I was working in an accounting firm early last year, I think, yes, early last year, we received a request to come and do an audit for a company I will not mention the name. They're asking us, one thing about forensic audit is that it can date back to 1992, not the current year. And what they are requesting from us is a forensic audit, right, of their cash position. You know why? They discover sometimes, I think in 2012, what they are carrying in the face of their financials is not equivalent to what they have in their bank account. What they have in their bank account is lower. The business is suspecting that somebody has siphoned or must have siphoned or diverted the company's fund for personal use. So they came to us to say, okay, come and do a forensic audit, come and check and tell us your opinion. Let me leave that. What I'm saying is that when they did was to print all their bank statements, the bank statements that the company has in different bank, they printed it for us. Okay. The question is, Your bank statement, thing that passes through your bank account, nobody can deny it. That's where I'm going. Wait, what am I seeing on this screen? Somebody has even gone to take screenshots. Maybe you please. You have even gone to take a picture of my LinkedIn profile. Okay. All right. Hold on, guys. Look at this. Thing that passes through your bank account, nobody can deny it. Right? So we now go and start checking. My question is, if that account will have things that have to do with personal things of the owners, into the account with forensic audits, the possible, it won't be possible. It won't be possible. That's the point. It won't be possible. So my point is, and again, another thing you can think of is that, do you know that? Personally, let me use myself as an example. There was a time I went to rent an apartment and I paid to the landlord. And being a finance person and all of that, he was requesting that I pay in cash. I said, Ash, I can't pay in cash. In fact, I can't see myself moving money up and down. I just paid the man I was going to transfer. And I insisted on transferring. Do you know what informed that decision? Because I'm a finance person and I understand what audit is, what audit trail is. Audit trail is when you trace a transaction from inception to conclusion, from beginning to the end to end, with a view to uncover what has gone wrong on the pipeline. So I made the transfer. And one thing you also want to do as a small business is that every transfer you make or transaction through your business, ensure there is a narration. For instance, somebody is buying 10 liters from you, 6 liters of a particular chemical. Tell the person, put it in your invoice. When you are paying, pay to this account, and on the description, put payment for whatever you are paying for on the description. You know why? It helps for the trail, transparency, and accountability. It enhances. And everybody will pressure your bank statement and see that no, this one knows what he's doing. Guys, story I'm saying is not paid for. But I'm saying it because beyond this class, your business, to scale a business goes beyond. I mentioned something at the beginning of this class that we have business owner. A lot of people are business owner are not entrepreneur. So somebody saying I'm guilty of these narrations. Okay. That's why you're in this class. No hard feelings, no issues. That's why you're here. Right? And that's what makes you different from someone who did not attend this course. Right? So there must be a narration. So I put a narration there, being payment for rent. There was a time the man came back and said, that day, the money that we said you're supposed to pay is this amount. It's not this amount, it's not this. I didn't argue with him. I just picked up my phone, went to that's even my personal bank account. I just went there and looked for that date. And I pulled my bank statement for that day. And I showed him, how much is this? At that point, that point where, imagine when you are young, you want to go and steal meat in the pot. And as you are opening the pot, taking the meat, it's not when you are taking it up. As you're putting the meat in your mouth, your mom just opened the door of the kitchen. Which kind of expression? If you can imagine that kind of expression. That's how the man was just looking at him. Guys, what if I had paid by cash? What if I had no transaction? What if the man had taken me to court? What would have been my evidence? Right? Because one thing about the legal system, generally anywhere in the world, is how much or how well you can assist that something happened with evidence. So you see that you can be shouting on the street, somebody killed, he killed that man. He used his car to jam the man and kill the man. And when the person gets to court, the person will be discharged and acquitted. You say, no, the video saying that. No, point is, the other lawyer is not able to give evidence that substantiates his claim that that man actually killed the disease. Guys, you get the summary of what I'm saying, guys. Guys, can you hear me? Do you get the summary of what I'm saying, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
So you must
yes,
have
yes.
as a small business. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
As a small business, you must have a bank account different from your own bank account. You must have a bank account for your business, and everything you do must have narration. Is important. I hope that helps someone. Yeah, back to the question of that person that asked question. I take that question and I run you through some other because I've discussed virtually everything I have in this life. I run you through maybe one or two things, then we end this class. Yes, that person that wanted to ask question, I've forgotten the name now.
Hello, I have question.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Please, I want to ask, I know that for the small companies, they don't really have any money to pay for the tax, but the filing of tax is a compulsory one, right? So I want to
You
ask,
say
is it
payment for tax? No.
Hello, what do you say? Can you hear me?
The question. Take it all over again. I can hear you. Take
Okay,
it all
I
over
said
again.
for this. Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so for the small companies, filing of tax, is it compulsory to take an accountant, or is it something that one can actually do by herself?
Eh? I mean, you have answered it yourself. The most appropriate, if you can do it yourself, fine. But the most appropriate and best approach is to, get the service of someone who can do it or who have been doing it, even preparing your financial statement. Because he or she is trained, you know what and what should be on your financial statement and what should not be on your financial statement. Right? So the best is to get the service of a professional. It doesn't have to be maybe somebody, and one funny thing about all this thing is that it might look like you are paying a lot, but if you look at the benefit of getting a professional to your business on the long run, the benefit outweighs the cost. And that's what we call cost benefit analysis. Any decision where your benefits outweighs the cost, whether in the immediate or in the future, is the best decision for you to take. So I think you can just get the space of someone who can do it. Right. I hope you get that. I hope that answers your question. Timoyemi Olajuwon, very quickly, please. I think that will be the last question I'll take. Yeah,
Okay.
very quickly.
Good morning, sir. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
sir. Yes. My question
Go
is
ahead.
thank you for today's class. I've been misled. I've been given wrong information before about this filing of tax. I've just gotten the difference between the company income tax and what I'll be doing is I'll be filing zero every month, and it's actually a staff of the FRS that told me that since I'm not making up to 25 million naira monthly, that I should be filing zero. Now I've seen that I think I'm doing the wrong thing. So how do I go about this now? Seeing that I generate revenue every month, but yet I'll be filing zero, and which is different from the company income tax. What should I do now? Because I learned that at the end of the year, I will have to submit an audited statement of accounts, and it's a grievous offense under law that I'll be evading my VAT. So how do I go about this?
Correct. Correct. Thank you. What's your name so that I can address you?
Omoyemi.
Okay. Tomorrow. So for the FRS guy, you said, to go it correctly, you said since you are
Yes.
not making up to 25 million naira, he told you to file zero as
Yes,
company
every
income
month.
tax
Yes, a staff of
every
FRS.
every month. Okay, so what he's telling you to do is not to file zero. You are not filing zero. What you are doing is that
Okay.
once you file your revenue on, do you do it on Pro Max?
Yes, every month. I just submit zero Excel sheets.
Zero Excel sheets.
Yes, every month.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. That's not correct. What you should do is, although the tax person is correct in the sense that why it's correct is that your CIT company income tax will still be zero at the end of the day, as long as you are not making up to 25 million. But it does not mean
Okay.
that you should not show the money you are making.
Because I remember in
It's wrong.
January. I remember in January I showed the statement. It was one who did it for me at their office. I showed the statement and automatically the portal deducted the tax straight away. So he now told me that subsequently basically, he just used this to explain to me that since I'm not making up to 25 million naira monthly, that that I should be filing zero subsequently. So I've been filing zero since then until, but I've been getting confused every time I attend classes like this on there's that thing to do.
That means that from what I can understand now, that means that the guy is actually the one filing for you. Is that correct?
No, he only showed me how to do it in January, and since then I'll be doing it myself every month.
Every month. So
But I'll
for
be
when you
filing
see
zero.
revenue, when you say revenue, just hold on. Let's take one after the other. I want to make sure that I get you right and I give you the right advice. When you see revenue on
Okay.
that tax format dashboard, what do you usually put there?
I write zero sales, zero. I
Zero,
input zero.
zero sales.
So that's
But
yes,
do
that
you
was the instruction he gave to me.
okay? But do you actually make sales
Yes, I do,
and you have
and
a
it
business
enters the
bank
company
account
account. Yes, and it goes
and
to
you
the bank
enter
account.
when FRS come for you, when they come for you. But the thing is, why he's probably asking you to do that is he knows you will not pay company income tax because your turnover is not 25 million. He knows that your personal education tax, so you will not
Uh,
pay. But there are other tax that you should pay, and I mentioned it
uh,
in the course of this meeting. You are like a small business, it does not mean you will
okay,
not pay
the
other
VAT,
tax
right?
like back. Yes, you will remit back. So he was asking you to put zero is that he knows that when you make a revenue of this amount, the place where you put your cost of sales and you put the workings there, they want to check the amount you have received, right? And they will check what you are selling. Is it vatable? If it's vatable, they take 7.5% of the money. Because
Okay,
the thing about VAT is that if you are rendering a service and you know you are supposed to be remitting the VAT, you have two options actually as a business. It's either you, in
okay,
fact, in most cases, is the first option that makes sense. You will always include VAT in whatever
okay.
amount you charge your customer. This is vatable goods. Abi?
Yes,
For instance, if
yes.
I'm
Product
selling,
and services.
yes, you include VAT, right? The revenue you have received is of it. Do you agree?
Yes,
And since VAT is of the revenue you have received, right? It means that on which the phase VAT as value tax, as amended is that VAT is supposed to be filed like think the 21st day of the next month. You should have remitted the VAT
yeah.
you collected from previous month to the FRS, right? Now,
Yes,
this is it. At the end of the day, maybe why I'm telling you to say zero is that so at the end of the day, even though he knows you will not pay CIT, company income tax, you are supposed to pay VAT. And he's trying to help you evade paying other form of taxes. What he's trying to help you do. Long story cut short.
okay,
But he's correct by saying you will not be paying CIT, but it
okay.
does not mean
So
you
what
pay zero
do
revenue.
I do now? Because I just learned this week that at the end of the year, I'm going to I'm going to submit an audited report, and that might
Yes, so
implicate
this one,
me.
yes, I think submit an audited report. It's not what FSS to now do.
Network.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can
Okay.
hear you, sir.
Yes, yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so the implication of that for you or more hear me is that what FSS should now do is that by the end, every purchase you have not paid, that's the penalty. Depending, I think VAT penalty is even a bit different. But the usual thing is that so they now calculate all the tax you're supposed to pay from January. They will now be calculating your fine and interest rate because every month you fail to remit tax, you remit that tax rate, and you also pay an interest on that tax equivalent to the latest NPR rate. NPR is monetary policy rate. That's the rate CBN release every time they have their meeting. I think currently is about 26%. So it means that in January, the amount you did not remit, you pay 26% of it. That's for 12 months. In February, you pay 26% of it. They will prorate it. February to December is 11 months. They'll prorate it by saying 20, 20 something percent of it, the interest rate times what you should have paid in February times 11 over 12. It means that the interest has enjoyed 11 months. I don't know how to explain this that you understand, right? But my point is, all those taxes you have not paid, they are waiting for you. You know, when Yoruba says that there's this Yoruba that says there is one area that where you, I have forgotten the way they used to say it. You will meet it there. That's what I'm trying to say. It's waiting for you. So what I would advise that you do is that even on month basis, since you will VAT, no problem, and your revenue is not 25 million. I mean, put in the amount of revenue that you earn. Because in the end of the day, your bank statement, and let me tell you something, I have been opportune to represent one of the companies I work for in the past before at FRS headquarters in Abuja. Do you know the funniest thing, guys? Let me show you. There is nothing secretive about your business. If FRS is ready to audit your business, all your bank statements, they have it. Are you guys with me? Omo Yemi, are you with me? Omo Yemi, are you there?
Now your network is
Let's say, I mean,
breaking.
can you hear me now? Oh my goodness. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Omo Yemi, did you get my explanation?
We can, but
Yes.
your network is trippy.
Okay. Omo Yemi, do you get my explanation now?
Hello,
I
Sami.
don't
I
think
want to,
Omoyemi is online.
Okay. No problem then, no problem.
I want to ask a
This is
question.
but for the purpose, hold on, please, I'm coming. Suppose most of you who have small businesses and you may like to you know, you may like to also prepare your financial statements, right? That will now be audited as well. Financial statement, you can also reach out, right? You can reach out. Um, yes. Um, I mentioned you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, right? All right. So, any other question as we bring this class to a close?
Yes, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay. As we explained to more, yes, I don't know if that's the right place. My question now is, it said if FRC wants to audit me, for instance, that there's no way I can hide. I will not lie to you because of things like this. I tend to do some transactions just I tend to do some transactions on my personal account and use some of my business account. So does it mean that if they truly want to trace me with either the team that I've gotten from them, my personal and other financial statement can be accessed?
What that means is that if you are trying to um, do that, what you are trying to do is, would I say you are avoiding tax? No, because there's a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. What you are trying to do is you are trying to evade tax. Evade tax is a criminal offense. That is a deliberate action by a player, to not to pay tax that he knows that he's supposed to pay. Tax avoidance is when you use the loopholes of the tax law to avoid tax. I hope you are with me and you can hear me.
I can hear you, sir.
So what you are doing is you are evading tax. There's no two ways about it, informer. There's no two ways about it. That's what you're doing, right? But what I'm saying is that I've represented, I will not advise that you continue that, right? This high level. I mentioned that I've represented the company at FRS office in Abuja, and I'm trying to say that when FRS want to do audits of your business, they have all your bank accounts, your personal accounts, your business account, once they are ready for your business audit, they go to any length to audit you. Let me just tell you, when I was representing that company, what I'm saying about being in Abuja happened, I think, earlier this year. I went to represent the company. And the funniest thing is, even as I got in, before I started speaking, and they got to know me and all of that, the funniest thing is that all the bank statements of the companies already, they have the copy printed, although they will come and from you to throw you under the bus. If they ask from you, if you like, send only, maybe your business has 5 accounts, you send only 3. No problem. They will not, if you, they will not say anything. Because what the Nigeria, see, let me tell you something. If people are saying Nigerian system is not integrated, it's not true. Nigerian system data, Nigeria actually has a database if they intend to work on it. The system is integrated that all they need to do is just get a unified code of your business and your own details personally. They will write all the banks in Nigeria. It's every account by this person. There's a unique ID to know that it's you. When by this person forward it to us, and your bank have no choice to forward, because in law, anything that is in public interest or that has to do with investigation, the company or the counterparty has every right to provide the information to the law enforcement. It's just like this situation of was it the former deputy commissioner of police, this Abba Kyari situation with Hushpuppi the last time, if you follow the story. To give you, Abba Kyari was saying, oh, I don't know him. Oh, I used to just sew clothes for him. You know what main people did? They will not they just went to WhatsApp. What make and say, okay, give us all the of this man from 20 weeks also did. Not coming them with the information now. It's every follow the story. They play the recording, in their chat that they got from Meta. They played it and said, actually, you said you only spoke for this man. This recording and this is not showing a relationship of a tailor and a customer. This relationship is beyond the tailor and customer relationship. It has gone to some movement or some, you get what I'm saying, guys? What I'm saying is that the system is so integrated that they can get the information they need day anytime. So they are using your personal account. The day they will want to, and what FIRS normally do, sometimes they will not even come to your office so that they will let your eyes see some shady. They will tell you to come to Abuja. At first, you know how much you spend on flights or your flight ticket, go and fro to Abuja. So you first, at least, you first wait like maybe like 700K go and fro on flight. Oh. Before you now get there, the first day they will interrogate you and tell you, when you first get there, the lobby, you can sit there for like now because you see a lot of companies too that has been called for tax audit. They will sit in the lobby, all of you will sit down there like this. See people running up and down. So they will now be before you reach your turn, maybe like 1 p.m. They will now ask 1 or 2 questions and say, we still have more questions, you can come back tomorrow. The question is your business is in Lagos. They know you can't go back to Lagos. What you do, you have to go and lodge in one hotel. I'm telling you reality now on this call because I've been through it. You have to go and lodge in one hotel. Won't you pay for the accommodation and lodging? You pay. You now come the next day, you now start, this is. And one thing about FRS tax investigation is that after they investigate you, you will have an amount to pay as tax. That's the truth. They must indict you of an amount to pay as tax and you go and pay. Because you feel even call you for investigation, they have looked at your operations over time. And there are some people within the FRS that has targets of, bringing a particular amount of revenue to the purpose of FRS. So they are the one that will start making research. There are some people that's their job in FRS, legit job. So they will start making research about companies that they are making money who have not been remitting tax. So that's why I would advise you not to do that. Just do your normal transaction. And so that in case you are caught, you will not say, but I asked one Mr. Elijah Falabi on one call one day. So I need to tell you the truth from an experiential perspective now. Do you get my point? Do you get my
Yes,
story?
sir. Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
I'm saying, thank God. You see, it's good to share experience and tell the truth. That is confirming that we just came back from one yesterday. They stress air out of us. They are doing it. It's normal. It's normal doing. That's their normal doing. If was it LRS you go Lagos or FRS? the one in Abuja or the one in Lagos. If it's the one in Lagos, you are still enjoying. But if it's the one in Abuja, the special purpose investigation unit in Abuja, they are summoning you. Abuja, you should have this experience now. Good. I think Taiwo he has an experience of what I'm talking about. So he can relate with what I'm saying. So it's not a good thing not to do the right thing because there are people, tax officers, who are watching out for companies who are not paying tax, and you don't want to be found capable, right? So it's good to put proper books of account. So prepare your financials month on month. Said it, if you need to do that, you can also reach out and we'll talk about that. So as I end the class, I think it's imperative to discuss this part in the next 5 minutes or 3 minutes. I'll end this class. But look, if you have any other question, you can reach out. Are there free financial management software or tools you recommend to use for bookkeeping? Yes, there are tools actually. And most of them, they have the free version, but most of them, where you can now begin to do financial statement is when your business is now a bit larger and you are now paying. That's the like of Sage, and you pay in foreign currency, right? But however, as a small business that you are still trying to thrive, um, certain advice I can give you in terms of how you make sure you keep proper books of accounts, then assistance now in terms of now preparing your financial statement is what that can be done in a twinkle of is what that can be done in a twinkle of an eye, right? Because most of those softwares are for companies that you have a high turnover now. If you have a good turnover, and one thing about most of this software, let me tell you from an accounting perspective, now you can confirm this anywhere, is that most of those software are not compatible with your line of business. It depends on your line of business, right? I currently work in a financial service space, right? To the point, we wanted an accounting software, but the ones we have implemented so far have failed. The likes of say, you know why? Because it's not compatible with our kind of operations. So what we now need to do as a business was now to, at some point we were doing manual, at some point we now have to develop our own ledger system that speaks to our own operations, right? Some of the disadvantage of this accounting software is that they may not be compatible with your business, right? And as a small business, you don't have the money to pay some of these accounting software. There are still ways how you can, go around all these things to the implement, right? So let's go. So these are the grants you should watch out for quickly. Bank of Industry grants to give to small businesses. The Tony Elumelu Foundation. I've been to a session where somebody confirmed, one of the participants, that he was a beneficiary of this Tony Elumelu Foundation. Is $5,000 to assist your business. The entrepreneurship, Lagos State Entrepreneurship Trust Fund. So you may want to look at that. Grow Film Fund. These are for major fintech, African young entrepreneur empowerment. Also, there's also a grant by federal government, all this market money, trader money that you may want to watch out for. So generally, you can go to the Bank of Industry websites and just be abreast of grants that they give to businesses. There are some grants that grants are free, and there are some interest-free loan as well. And there are also some loans that the interest is as low as a single digit interest, 2%, 1%, right? So you may also want to look at that. So these are some of the software you can explore. Like somebody asked Microsoft Excel, QuickBooks, Sage, Zoho, depending on compatibility. And I think that is the end of this class. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy that you made it to the end of this class and you pay rapt attention. I'm sure that you must have learned one or two things. Right? But before we go, we want you to put in the comment box what you have learned from this session. That thing that resonates with you, that you just feel like, no, this one I learned it. Put in the chat box. In a word, describe this session and put in the chat box what you have learned. Waiting, all eyes on the chat box. Can you hear me? Put in the chat box what you have learned today. Describe this session in a word. What have you learned? What resonates with you? Okay, let me check the chat box now. Well, somebody said reputational risk. Yes, it's very important of how your return. The class has been very insightful. Thank you, Eniola. Separate business account from personal account marvelous. Makes sense. Importance of financial record. Importance of complying with regulations, especially with tax from the registered business. Manual filing return. The first one is importance of ROP. What is ROP? I don't have it. I learned the processing. My annual return does not have stressful. Does not need to be stressful anymore. I can now do it myself. Then the importance of bookkeeping, statements. I learned financial management. Overall, somebody said I learned FRS. Yeah. They will fish you out, right? But don't worry, when they fish you out, they'll fish you out for good, right? No cause for alarm. They'll fish you out for good. Have a business account. It's necessary for me to register. Learn it's important to track things and learn about taxes. I have not known about this before. Oh, I am happy to have been of help to you, Victoria. I am happy. I am extremely happy to have been of help to you in this regard. I'm extremely happy. Another person says, have a business account. 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 I learned the importance of bookkeeping and returns. My business was not fail because I will export the top financial. I love this reformer fashion. I will also start by adding narration to every transaction for record purpose. Oh my goodness. I love to have been of help. Yes. This makes sense. Um, okay. I'm trying to read others. Okay. When sport does not fail. So guys, separate business accounts. You have to oblige with government rules and regulations. So guys, thank you so much for joining in and connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have any question, you can also reach out. Somebody said they learned the advantage of filing returns and all of that. Right. So you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Another thing I think you can do for me in this class that I will appreciate. Please let me first confirm. Everybody, can you hear me? Before I go, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Uh,
can hear you.
another thing
Yeah,
I
we
know
can
you
hear
can
Still
do
you.
for
here, sir.
me.
Still here, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, what you will do for me that I will so appreciate is that I will send in here now my LinkedIn profile. What you will do for me. Can you guys hear me? I want to
Yes,
be sure all
we
of you are hearing me.
hear you.
What you do for me is that based on this class and what you have learned, right? You will go on LinkedIn and add a recommendation for me. Are you guys with me? You add a recommendation. I'll send a link now where you add a recommendation based on your interaction with this class and what you have learned. You will see the link shortly, and because people asking for the link to my profile too, that will also be of help. I'm trying to get that link now to send. While I do that, say if that's over to you. I'm trying to get the link now for it. Please stay on the call. Ensure you add that link, that recommendation for me. It's important for me. Uh, Taifa, over to you. Please stay on the call, guys. Let me get the link. Um, Hey, Pat, are you there? I'm trying to get the link, guys. Just hold on. Alright. Precious. Hey, Pat, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear
sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Trying to get the link. This link now. This link wants to disgrace me in front of all of you. Precious.
Hello, please.
All right, so I'm dropping it now in the chat box. Um, now somebody, okay, please confirm you can see the link now.
you. You see the link?
Oh, sorry. Please hold on. I'm not sure that link is correct. That link is not correct. Please disregard the one I sent at first. Use this one instead, the second one, the one that has my name. So you can just let me drop a comment. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. Have a nice time, guys. I don't know, sir, if that is supposed to address you guys, that's your moderator. But let me see if I can reach out. If there are other information she may want to share, maybe in terms of the attendance. No, let me try to call her.